We've gotten a lot of questions over the last week, obviously, in the wake of the loss of SpaceX 7. First one that's been on everyone's mind, how are the supply levels looking for you guys on board the International Space Station?
Well, they're fine right now. Of course, if we had any further delays in our resupply, particularly past, mid-September, October, then, we'd have some issues. But, with our current transportation plan with Progress and HTV in August, assuming those come on time, we should be in great shape.
And so is there anything special you or your crewmates are doing to conserve, supplies on board, or is it just business as usual?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. It's not like we can throw anything away here very easily. So, certainly when Progress leaves, the one that's currently here, you get rid of items, and we throw things away on SpaceX. So, and HTV and the other vehicles. So, if we don't use something or use something to its fullest extent, it generally stays on board for a while. And if you need to retrieve it, you can. But I'm still consciously, because of the last two, vehicles that that didn't arrive, I'm still consciously thinking about, maybe using all the food we have rather than scatter it throughout different places and trash on the space station if there's something we don't eat, just so it would prevent us from having to go and retrieve it later if we had to, or maybe accidentally disposing of something on a vehicle. Water, definitely thinking about that. You can throw away water if you throw away bags of water or food that might have some water in it. Or some like water samples versus trying to reclaim the water. So that's something we're thinking about. And then some of the, our waste hygiene compartment consumables that are sometimes a limiting factor. We're trying to use those up as much as possible.
Okay, well, after the SpaceX event, you tweeted out, just kind of reminding people spaceflight is hard, but tomorrow is always a new day. Do you care to elaborate on that a little bit more?
Flying in space, building the space station, I think it's the hardest thing we've ever done. And it, continues to remind us of that. It's a very challenging environment. The vehicles operate on their, the extremes of their performance capability. But, when something like this happens, we just have to kind of, lean forward, look ahead, keep moving on. And we need to, learn from our mistakes. And I'm sure there's things to be learned from this incident, as there are in anything like this that happens. But we have to keep our focus on what our goals are and keep pressing forward with, the resources we have. And that's what we're doing here on board the space station. I know the folks on the ground are doing the same thing as well.
Okay, well, the next cargo ship already about to head your way, the Progress 60 launching a little bit later tonight. What's the crew's level of anticipation to get this next cargo vehicle on orbit?
Well, third time's a charm, I hope, and we're hoping that we get this one. Obviously, like I said, it's. As these next two, if they get delayed or even move out beyond September, October, it will cause problems. But, we're as confident as we can be in any rocket launch. I mean, there's always risks, there's always chances of failure, but you have to look at the positive, and we expect it's going to arrive on time. But certainly, we're always prepared for the worst.
In the wake of everything, how's the workload for you guys up there? Still plenty of research to do, I assume.
This is a big space station. A lot of, a lot of capability, a lot of science racks and science modules and science on board. So, unfortunately, we did lose some stuff on SpaceX, and I really feel bad, especially for the kids out there that may have had a science experiment on orbital and then one on SpaceX. NASA had some hardware on both those vehicles that they, rebuilt and tried to fly again. So, I understand how, in those cases it can be somewhat disappointing, but, there are lessons learned there about, keep moving forward and, doing the right thing and working towards progress. But here, there's a lot to do. We have a lot of capability, a lot of science. I mean, more than I can do, obviously, and with the help of my Russian colleagues. So we're looking forward to getting those new guys up on board here pretty soon.
Well, I mean, that was going to be my next question. Everything looks like it's still on track for their launch later in July. You guys really excited to get back up to the full 6-person crew?
Yeah, excited, for a number of reasons, not just the extra company, although that's good, but, we need their help up here. I'm holding down the fort for now, but it'd be great to have some extra hands. Also, we like those guys, and we want to see them. And, two of those guys have never been to space before, and that's exciting when you see someone in this incredible environment for the first time. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm sure you'll have some fun with the rookie space flyers. So shifting gears a little bit, you're about a quarter of the way now into the 1-year mission. How you feeling? Is it any different from you would have been at a halfway point on a normal mission right now?
Yeah, so, I remember the 100-day point when I was here last time pretty well, because that was about the same time my sister-in-law Gabby was shot in Tucson. And besides that happening, I mean, even before that, I had a certain level of, I don't know if you call it fatigue, but just the feeling that I've been here a long time, and at the 100-day point, when you have a 159-day mission, you think about, hey, I'm going to be coming home pretty soon. It's less than 2 months. Well, now, since it's so far away, I don't actually feel the same way. I feel like I have a lot more energy, a lot more, ability to focus, attention to detail, a lot more enthusiasm about the, upcoming 200-plus days. So it was something I thought about a lot, and I wondered at the beginning, before I flew on this flight, wondering if it was really like a last thirds kind of phenomena, or was it more, 100 days in space is kind of enough. But I think it is. I think it's when you're 2/3 of the way into something is when you kind of start thinking about, hey, I'm coming home soon, versus 100 days in. Comparing this experience to last time.
All right. Well, one final question for you. 4th of July, coming up this weekend. How does it feel to represent, NASA and the USA in space during the upcoming Independence Day holiday?
Well, it's it's always feels great and a privilege to represent our country, NASA. In my case, as a retired member of the military. But on holidays, you even feel more special, and it feels more of a privilege. You have more of a patriotic feeling. And I'd like to wish everyone a happy Independence Day. It's a great holiday, great tradition, and hopefully the timing will be right, and I'll be able to look down and see little specks of light over the United States on the evening of the 4th of July. We'll have to see how the orbital mechanics and such works out.